name is Hideout and welcome to the Pantheon, where today we're having a look at a rather demonic force in the Dungeons and Dragons world, I believe. It's Asmodeus, the devil god. He's an Archfiend, which, you know, nice rank he's worked his way up to. Well done on him, great promotion. 6 mana for a 6/6, devil god. If you would draw a card, exile the top card of your library face down instead. And you can pay 3 black to draw 7 cards. And then 1 black, return all cards exiled with Asmodeus the Archfiend to their owner's hand, and you lose that much life. Really, really cool commander here. A nice, interesting take on the sort of, black draw. It's a contract. Ooh, we're going to pay some life. Ooh, how lovely. Really, really cool card, and I like it a lot. Is it the sort of best commander? No, but we can build a really interesting draw deck out of it. It reminds me a lot of my good friend over here, Villis. Look, there he is in a lovely little bit of foil. So, without further ado, go over there, Villis. Be gone with you. Let's have a look at my top 5. But first, why don't you subscribe to the channel? Going to be making one of these for every single legendary creature, and dear God, there's a lot of them. So let's move on and let's have a look at my top 5 for Asmodeus, the devil god. And in at number 5, we have Clattering Augur. And this is a really cool new card. 2 mana 1/1s that draw a card when it enters the battlefield. Pretty goddamn good value. Elvish Visionary sees play in Legacy, or at least used to when I, knew about those sort of things. So this 2 mana Skeleton Shaman, wonderful creature type for a 1/1. It can't block, sadly, but when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. And then you can pay 4 mana to return it from your graveyard to your hand. So this is all about, yes, our commander can draw us tons of cards, but we want the rest of the deck to draw cards. And I think that is the sort of central theme that I'm going to be building around for this deck. Just loads and loads of cards. There's nothing better than just having a full grip of cards in Magic. It just gives you so many options, and it's just so powerful. And this guy, it replaces itself. You can bring it back later in the game to increase your hand size, play it again, draw a card, lose life. Oh, it just does everything we want to do. Then we've got Dark Deal, 3 mana for a sorcery. Each player discards all cards in his or her hand, then draws that many cards -1. So, we're getting in on the drawing cards. Why don't we let our opponents? So the good thing about this is, yes, we do lose 1 card in our hand, but that can really cripple our opponents. Say they're down to 2 cards, well, now they're on to 1 random card that they've not maybe tutored for. Can mess with tutors. This just does so much work. It's really, really good card. And our hands is always going to be pretty goddamn big, so we're going to be drawing the most of it. Then we've got Erebos, God of the Dead, 4 mana for a 5/7 indestructible god. As long as your devotion to black is less than 5, it isn't a creature. And your opponents can't gain life, which is actually pretty important. Life gain decks are not very good, but they exist. Sometimes your opponents are down on low life and they're like, oh, I need to gain some life. Oh. And they try to gain some life. Erebos says no. Then the main reason we want to play him, pay 2 life, draw a card. Ooh, pretty cool. I love drawing me some cards, and just paying 2 life and 2 mana, not that bad at all. Keeps you stocked up, and maybe the paying life is a sort of sub-theme that's going to come up later in the video. Then we've got Dust Legion Zealot, 2 mana for a vampire soldier. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. This looks sort of similar to the Clattering Skeletons, doesn't it? Woohoo! Except it's worse in every way. Then we've got, I love a bit of ramp, so why don't we let our ramp allow us to draw some cards? Mindstone, 2 mana for an artifact. It taps for a colours. Which, we're playing mono black, not that big of an issue. Yes, our commander's activated abilities are just purely black, but we should have enough lands knocking about. The main reason we want to play it is pay 1, tap it, sacrifice it, draw a card. Really, really nice. Great to have in the deck. And, it's just a good all-around card. 2 mana ramp is always solid. Then, very similar to the card we were talking about before, Memory Jar. 5 mana for an artifact, tap, sacrifice it. Each player exiles all cards from his or her hand face down and draws 7 cards. At the beginning of the next end step, each player discards his or her hand and returns his or her hand returns the cards back. They just go, get them all back. There you go. I drink your milkshake. So, you know, the memory jar's cracked, the milkshake's on the floor. Really, really cool card. Allows you to draw tons of cards. You can do this and really mess up your opponents, you know. It's fantastic. Yes, maybe they draw a counter spell for what you're doing, but you can get so far ahead by just drawing a whole set of cards. Then we've got Hedron Archive, 4 mana for an artifact that taps for 2 colors. Pay 2, tap it, and sacrifice it, draw 2 cards. It's a bigger Mind Stone, and I really, really like this card. You know, 4 mana ramp, not the best, but it does allow us to get to turn like or 7 mana on turn 5 if we have a land drop as well. And then later in the game, just draw 2 cards. Really, really nice. Refills your hand. It's good. It's just good. And that's what I'm all about. Which brings me on to number 4. And at number 4, we have Eternity Vessel. So we're paying a lot of life with all these things. All of these, you know, things that are happening. Our commander's ability costs us a lot of life. We need to regain that life in some way. And this is one of the best ways to do it. 6 mana for an artifact, enters the battlefield with X charge counters on it, where X is your life total. And landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may have your life total become the number of charge counters on Eternity Vessel. So we want to get this out early, you know, play a bit of ramp, get this on the field with 40 counters or thereabouts. Then once we start paying tons of life with our commander, you know, we're draining ourselves, drawing tons of cards, then we can yo-yo our life total right back up into the upper echelons, you know, go right back up to 40. And then guess what? We can pay all that life again and draw more cards and just spiral out of control. Really, really awesome card. And works really coolly with fetch lands. You know, you can pay that fetch land, land comes in. Wonderful, wonderful. Get 2 uses out of it for your fetch lands. And since Modern Horizons 2 just come out, pick up fetch lands now. Another great way to gaining life, Exsanguinate, double black and X for a sorcery. Each opponent loses X life. You gain life equals a life lost this way. This is not only a win condition, but it can just pad out your life total if you've not got lethal amounts of mana, which, you know, is always nice. Very, very solid card, and I appreciate the artwork. I like the man thing stabbing the elf thing. Lovely. Then we've got Whipper Erebos. Our commander, you know, 6/6, pretty beefy. Let's get in with some lifelink. So, 4 mana for a legendary enchantment artifact. Creature you control have lifelink, and you can pay 4, tap it to basically return something for the rest of the turn, give it haste, it can attack. So the main thing is giving all of our creatures lifelink, which can really help pad out our life total. And then we've got Aether Flux Reservoir, 4 mana for an artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. Pay 50 life, it deals 50 damage to target creature player. So really, I'm not actually that fussed about the pay 50 life here. You know, it's a nice little thing to have. It will make you a target, you know, everyone will go, oh, he's going to laser me, destroy it, and then destroy you. You're dead. So it is a bit of a risk to play this, you know, especially because we are going to bring our life total really low. And then, you know, that means our opponents can kill us. But this can really help, you know, if you just keep comboing off, keep, you know, flopping a bunch of creatures and stuff onto the field. You can gain a ton of life, which is nice. Then why don't we just, you know, we can lose life, but why don't we just not lose the game? Platinum Angel is 7 mana for a 4/4 with flying. You can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. So we can just pay all our life, you know, get down to 1. Our opponent's swinging to kill us. You've got a Platinum Angel. You just go, I'm at negative 65. Oh, well. So really, really cool card. Works exceptionally well in the deck. Now, we are all about paying life. So this card is a bit of a numbo. But when you're down on those sort of lower life totals, you just sort of want to keep alive. So Platinum Imperium, 8 mana for a golem. Your life total can't change, which means you cannot pay any life total things. But it's an 8/8, and, you know, you can get down low, and then if your opponents don't have a removal spell, you can just, you know, you've drawn tons of cards. Why don't you start casting some of those cards? You know, it's not just about drawing the cards. You can, you know, kill people maybe, you know, with your cards and stuff like that. And then we got Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose, 3 mana for a 1/3 vampire cleric. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Ooh, nice. So with all this life gain, we can turn it into damage that can help us kill our opponents. And we can pay 5, creature you control gain lifelink until end of turn, which is really, really solid. Really, really nice effect. You know, Whip of Erebos, worth putting in the deck. This is an activated ability that allows us to do that as well. Nice. I like it. Which brings me on to my number 3 pick. And at number 3, we've got Necrotic Ooze. So our commander has a static ability that is just on the commander saying that, whenever you would draw a card, exile it from the top. So why don't we get our commander into our graveyard, maybe sacrifice it, block some Death Touch 1/1, something, ridiculous like that, and then get Necrotic Ooze onto the field. Well, Necrotic Ooze will have all of the activated abilities of our commander, so that, the pay 3 black mana to draw 7, but it's not got the static ability of, exile a card. So you can just keep paying 3 mana to put them into your hand, which is really, really awesome. And, Necrotic Ooze, so many different combos, so many different things you can do with it. It's always, always, always an interesting card. And at the end of the day, it's a 4 mana 4/3, so pretty good in limited. So, I'd consider playing it. Well, one way to get some sort of other good cards into the graveyard is Entomb. So Necrotic Ooze doesn't just work well with our commander, it works well with any creature that we could put into the graveyard. 1 black for an instant, search your library for a card, put that card into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. And then a rather new card here, Vile Entomber. Oh, can you see the pun that they've used there? It's not even a pun, it's just the same word in the name. 4 mana for a 2/2 with Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, put that card into your graveyard, then shuffle. So we can get absolutely anything out. And, a zombie warlock, 4 mana 2/2 with Death Touch. It blocks pretty well. Our opponents won't want to attack in. It's a bit like acidic slime. It will always trade for something and you've got a bit of value out of it. So cool card. Then we've got Buried Alive, 4 mana, 3 mana. Oh no. 3 mana for a sorcery, search your library for 3 creature cards, put them into your graveyard, and then shuffle your library. So this could potentially search for some kind of combination, maybe a Phyrexian Devourer. 6 mana for an artifact creature construct. If its power is 7 or greater, sacrifice it. You can remove the top card of your library from the game, put X 1/1 counters from Phyrexian Devourer, where X is the removed card's converted mana cost. If its power is 7 or greater, sacrifice it. And then why don't we also tutor up a way to actually kill our opponent? So Triskelion, 6 mana for a 1/1, enters the battlefield, 3 1/1 counter on it, remove a 1/1 counter from it. It deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So the combination that we are playing here is Necrotic Ooze has both of these abilities. The exile a top card to get counters and the remove a counter, deal 1 damage. So you can just keep removing the top cards of your library, keep pinging. Opponents are dead. Really, really nice little cards. With Buried Alive, we can search them all up, which is pretty good. And then if we're, putting things into the graveyard, we want to be able to get things back. So let's play a card like Reanimate. 1 black for a sorcery. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life. You lose life. Equal to its converted mana cost. Really, really good card. 1 mana. No, you don't gain life. You lose some life, but we can take advantage of it using maybe what's at the number 2 spot, which is Vilis, Broker of Blood. Woohoo! 8 mana. There he is. Look at the big lad. 8 mana for an 8/8 demon with flying, and you can pay 1. Go back in shot. Pay 1 black and then pay 2 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Pretty good. You can kill something. But wait, whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. Wow. So with our commander's ability, we can pay that 1 black to, bring all the cards from exile into our hands. And then we lose all that life, which means we put loads more cards into exile. And Vilis is just a house. Absolutely fantastic commander. There's so many cards that work well with him. You can draw so many cards. Oh, absolutely fantastic. He just works wonderfully. Gristlebrand, it's a bit banned, sadly, but it's a fantastic card. And using these sort of cards, we can turn our commander into a Gristlebrand sort of effect. So it's 8 mana for a 7/7. Why not an 8/8? Who knows? Flying and lifelink and pay 7 life, draw 7 cards. Does it look quite similar to our commander? I think it does. To be fair, if you wanted to play this in your deck and you were playing some dirtily sort of draw loads of card deck, I would have no issue with it. So ask your playgroup, are they all right with you playing it? They might be, who knows? Then we've got Krik, Son of Yawgmoth. 7 mana, but 3 of it is Phyrexian, so you can pay 6 life. Look at that. Look at that speed maths there. 2/2 for a horror minion. It's got lifelink, and you can wait for. Come on. For each black in a cost, you may pay 2 life rather than pay that mana. Whenever you cast a black spell, put a 1/1 counter on it. So this can allow us to get all of our big things out really early. Nice bit of ramp, and we're also paying tons of life. So all of the sort of Villas effects are going to draw us tons of cards. Very nice. And then if we're losing lots of life, and our opponents might be, let's play something like a dirtily 1/1. Knight of the Ebon Legion, 1 black mana for a 1/2. Can pay 3 mana to give it +3/+3 and gain Death Touch on turn. And at the beginning of your end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. So we can do this, with our commander and, things like Gristlebrand and stuff. We can end up causing ourselves to lose 4 life, not just in our turn, but our opponents, each one of their opponents. And this can just grow and grow and grow. So it's a nice little include that fits with the theme of the deck. Then we've got the Book of Vile Darkness, triple black. Yeah, my mind stopped working then. For a legendary artifact, at the beginning of your end step, if you lost 2 or more life this turn, create a 2/2 black zombie creature. So that's another way that we can use our commanders, life loss sort of thing to build up a board state, but there's more. If you can tap it and exile the Book of Vile Darkness, the artifact's called Eye of Vecna and Hand of Vecna, we can create Vecna, a legendary 8/8 black zombie god creature token with indestructible against all triggered abilities of the exiled cards, which is pretty cool. You just sort of mash all of these artifacts together and just sort of... and some kind of zombie-like god appears. Eye of Vecna, 2 mana for a legendary artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and lose 2 life. So it's quite similar to quite a few things that we've been doing in the deck. So this fits in quite well, filter through your deck. If you've got one of your life loss payoff cards, it's going to draw you even more cards or whatever. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card and you lose 2 life. So again, can keep drawing you cards, keep getting in there. And the art is utterly disgusting. That is a horrible eye. It looks like it's corrupting the wearer of an eye. Do you wear an eye, or does it become part of you? Is the eye now yours? Who really knows? These questions may never actually be answered. Then there's the Hand of Vecna, 3 mana for an equipment. Equip for 2, or equip for pay 1 life for each card in your hand. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, equip creature or a creature you control named Vecna gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So that actually works fantastically with our commander, doesn't it? Because we're going to be wanting tons and tons of cards, just grabbing fistfuls of them, and then we can swing in for tons of damage. And the equip ability, if you have 2 creatures, you can keep paying that life to keep switching it from side to side. Really, really nice. Which brings me on to my number 1 pick. And at number 1, we've got Magus of the Mirror. 6 mana for a 4/2. Wow. What stat lines we have. Tap and sacrifice it. Exchange life totals with target opponent. Activate this ability only during your upkeep. So this deck has a lot of, life payments. We're killing ourselves. We're taking ourselves down and down and down. And yeah, we could gain that life back. But why don't we give our life total to one of our opponents? Then we can just swing in with our creatures, kill them. Absolutely fantastic. Yes, this is only limited to during our upkeep, but it works so well. Really cool piece of artwork as well. It's just wonderful. Similar to this, we've got Soul Conduit, 6 mana for an artifact. Pay 6 and tap it. 2 target players exchange life totals. Just go whoosh. And this doesn't even have to be us. Say, one of our opponents is being attacked by, John over there. Why don't we switch their life totals so that he's going to deal lethal damage to him? Then we've got Tyrite Sanctum for a land. This is just a cool card with our commander because, we want to keep our commander alive as much as possible. And it's a god to start with. So you can pay 2 and tap it. Target legendary creature becomes a god in addition to another type. Put a 1/1 counter on it. Or pay 4 and tap it, sacrifice it, put an indestructible counter on target god. So straight away we can use that bottom ability to put an indestructible counter on our god. And there we go. Bing bang bosh. Absolutely fantastic. Indestructible. Then we've got Profane Transfusion, 9 mana for a sorcery, 2 target players exchange life totals. You create an XX cause horror artifact creature token where X is the difference between those players' life totals. So that could be us and one of our opponents, and then we get a massive creature out of it. Really, really nice bit of value. And those are my top 5 cards for this brand new commander. He's really, really cool. You know, mono black. You gotta love it. Really, really nice. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe send me a piece of Battenberg cake in the mail. And I'll see you soon. Bye.